Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage at the edge of a great big forest, lived a mother pig with her three adorable little piglets. Now, these weren't just any piglets. They were growing up fast, and their little cottage was starting to feel a bit well, cramped. Mother Pig, with a loving but firm look in her eyes, gathered her three children one sunny morning. She said, "My dears, the time has come. You're all grown up, and you need to go out into the world and build your own homes, seek your own fortunes." She gave each of them a big hug, a kiss on the snout, and a little bag of treats for the road. With waves of goodbye and a few oinks of excitement, the three little pigs set off on their grand adventure. The first little pig was a cheerful, carefree sort. He loved to play and sing and didn't like to work too hard. As he trotted down the path, whistling a happy tune, he met a man carrying a bundle of straw. "Aha, perfect," he thought. "Straw is light and easy to build with. I can have my house up in no time and spend the rest of the day playing." So he politely asked the man, "Excuse me, sir, could I please have some of your straw to build a house?" The man kindly agreed, and the first little pig got to work. He huffed and he puffed, just a little and in a flash. He had built himself a house of straw. It was a bit wobbly, a bit drafty, but he didn't care. He danced a little jig and went inside to take a nap. The second little pig was a bit more practical than his brother, but he was still in a hurry to finish his work. He walked a bit further down the road and soon came across a man with a cart full of sticks. He pondered. "Sticks are definitely stronger than straw. This should make a fine house, and it won't take too long to build either." So he approached the man and said, "Kind sir, would you be willing to part with some of those sticks so I can build a house for myself?" The man smiled and gave him a big armful of sticks. The second little pig worked a little harder than his brother. He gathered the sticks, tied them together, and built a house that looked quite a bit sturdier than the straw one. Proud of his work, he admired his stick house for a moment, then went inside to cook a nice dinner. Now, the third little pig was the wisest and most patient of the three. He knew that a good home needed to be strong and safe. He walked past the field of straw and the pile of sticks, determined to find the very best material. Finally, he saw a man with a wagon loaded with heavy red bricks. His eyes lit up. "This is it," he declared. "Bricks are the strongest thing of all. A house of bricks will keep me safe from anything." It took some time, but he politely asked the man for some bricks. The man, impressed by the little pig's determination, helped him unload a hefty pile. Building the brick house was hard work. The third little pig worked day and night, carefully laying each brick with strong mortar. He made sure the walls were thick, the roof was solid, and he even built a sturdy fireplace and chimney. It took him a long time, but when he was finished, he had a strong, beautiful, and very safe little house. Meanwhile, lurking in the shadows of the forest was a big bad wolf. He hadn't had a good meal in days, and his tummy was rumbling. He spied the three new houses and licked his chops. Little pigs for dinner. He growled to himself. He decided to start with the easiest-looking target. He crept up to the house of straw, where the first little pig was still snoring away. The wolf knocked on the flimsy door. Tap, tap, tap. The first little pig woke up with a start. "Who's there?" he squeaked. The wolf disguised his voice, making it sound as sweet as he could. Little pig, let me come in," he called it. But the little pig saw the wolf's big paws through a crack in the straw wall. "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," he replied, his voice trembling. The wolf's sweet act vanished. He snarled, "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," and he did. He took a deep breath, puffed out his cheeks, and with one mighty whoosh, the straw house blew away completely. The first little pig squealed in terror and ran as fast as his little legs could carry him, all the way to his brother's house of sticks. He scrambled inside, slammed the door shut, and gasped, "A wolf! A big bad wolf is coming." The second little pig, who had just been about to enjoy his dinner, quickly bolted the door. Soon they heard the same sinister knock. Tap, tap, tap. Little pigs, let me come in." The wolf called out, trying to sound friendly again. The two pigs inside huddled together and shouted, "Not by the hair of our chinny chin." The wolf was getting very angry and very hungry. "Then I'll huff and I'll blow your house in," he roared. He took an even deeper breath, huffed and puffed, and whoosh. The house of sticks began to creak and groan. He huffed and puffed again, and crash. The stick house collapsed in a heap. The two terrified little pigs scrambled from the wreckage and ran for their lives. They didn't stop until they reached their brother's strong house of bricks. They pounded on the door, shouting, "Let us in. The wolf is coming." The third little pig quickly opened the door, let his frantic brothers inside, and slammed it shut, locking it with a heavy bolt. All three pigs huddled together, their hearts pounding, as they heard the wolf's heavy footsteps approaching. The wolf was furious now. Three little pigs were so close. He banged on the solid wooden door. Bang, bang, bang. Little pigs, let me in," he bellowed. From inside the three pigs, feeling much safer behind the thick brick walls. Called out in unison, "Not by the hair of our chinny chinkins," the wolf was beyond angry. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," he screamed. So he huffed and he puffed, but nothing happened. The brick house didn't even tremble. He huffed again, his face turning red. He puffed until he was out of breath. He huffed and he puffed and he huffed, but that brick house was just too strong. He couldn't blow it down. Exhausted and dizzy, the wolf sat down to think of a new plan. He was clever, that wolf. He looked up and saw the chimney. "Aha," he thought. "I'll climb up the roof and slide down the chimney. I'll surprise them and gobble them all up." But the third little pig was clever too. Hearing the scrambling sounds on the roof, he knew exactly what the wolf was planning. He whispered to his brothers, "Quick, help me with this." He had a big black pot hanging in the fireplace, and he quickly filled it with water and placed it over the crackling fire. The water started to get warm, then hot, then it began to boil and bubble. Just as the wolf squeezed himself into the top of the chimney and began to slide down, the three pigs took the lid off the pot. With a final triumphant grunt, the wolf slid down the chimney, expecting to land on the floor. Instead, he landed with a giant splash right in the pot of boiling water. He yelped in shock and pain, shot straight back up the chimney like a rocket, and ran off into the forest, howling all the way he was never seen in that part of the forest ever again. The three little pigs were safe. They cheered and danced around their warm, secure living room. The first two pigs thanked their wise brother over and over. They learned a very important lesson that day. It's always best to take your time and do things right. From then on, the three little pigs lived together happily and safely in the strong little house of bricks. And they knew that working hard and being prepared is the smartest way to live. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.